Hello again. So this is my second update regarding my quest to see if I can make music my full-time income in the space of a year. If you're watching this, I'm assuming that you've already watched the other two videos that I've made on this. I appreciate that these don't get too many views compared to my other videos, but I think there are a few people who are keen to hear an update. And also, I'm a man of my word. I said that I'd keep you updated. So here we are. As before, like in my last update, I'll quickly run through the numbers and I'll pick up where we left off. So we'll go from July through to December. And then I'll talk a little bit about my thoughts and plans. As before, I'm only divulging my music-related income. I have had a little bit of other work over these months, although December was only music work, and that was quite nice. Right, let's get into it. Okay, we ended the last video with June, so we're going to pick up in July. Right, private lessons, £820. So I've now started to schedule 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Fridays, where I teach online predominantly. Nearly all of my lessons are online. I think I have one student locally now that I go to. School lessons, £464. So this is still that same school that I started teaching at, I mentioned in the last video, but still only about really half a day a week. So not a great deal. Gigs, rehearsals, recording, £666. Obviously here I'm just combining any gigs, any paid rehearsals, any recordings that I do all into the same category here. Creator income, £307. This category comprises mostly of just YouTube, my Patreon, and my Buy Me a Coffee page. Although there were a couple of other extra little bits that I did on certain months that came through the YouTube, so I kind of bundled them into the same category too, but all sort of creator-linked income. So grand total for July was £2,257. So August, private lessons, £1,081. School lessons, just £175. Obviously with school lessons, I only get paid for what I teach. And so when there are schools on holidays, I don't teach and I don't get paid very much. And also I teach at a private school that have sort of quite extended holidays. So there's certainly points in the year where certain months I'm not actually making much money from them. Gigs, rehearsals, recording, £560. Creator income, £500. Now, this also included a workshop session that I did for Open Studio Jazz, which was a great honour and a bit daunting as well. I've been a fan of their work and content stuff for years, so to be asked to give a little workshop to their members was really great. I think it went well. They actually asked me if I would do some sessions weekly for them, which I said I couldn't commit to doing something weekly, but I'd be interested in doing something monthly, to which they didn't ever get back to me. But hopefully there'll be a call to do something again with those guys in future. This didn't pay very well, but it was a great opportunity nonetheless. Now, so that takes the total of August to £2,316. September, private lessons, £746. School lessons, just £13. Yeah, so obviously I didn't teach anything in August, didn't get any money in September. Gigs, rehearsals, recording, £660. Creator income, £413. Total for September, just £1,832. Okay, October. Private lessons, £1,089. School lessons, £630. We're back at school. Gigs, rehearsals, recording, £540. Creator income, £426. Total for October, £2,685. November, private lesson, £1,092. School lessons, £460. Gigs, rehearsals, recording, £322. Creator income, £1,194. So that's my biggest month so far in terms of creator income. I had a couple of videos sort of do well. Yeah. Total for November, £3,068. December, private lessons, £813. School lessons, £712. Gigs, rehearsals, recording, £543. Creator income, £1,192. So another good month from the creator income. So total for December, £3,260. And I did mention earlier that obviously December I didn't have any other work. That was all the work that I had in December, and quite happy to be. And I think it was a decent number in the end. So that pretty much brings us up to date. I think I would have hoped since our last update that things might have increased or grown a little bit more than they have done. But generally, I'm pretty happy with where we're at. And I do still feel like I'm on somewhat of an incline. I think someone commented on the last video saying they weren't from the UK and therefore didn't know what those income amounts translated to for them. So here's a little reference point. The average income in the UK, according to Google search and a few different reference points, seems to be around £34,000 to £38,000 a year, which translates to about £2,800 a month up to £3,200 a month. So if we look at those 6 months that I've just outlined, 4 of those are kind of just below that low end of that average, and the last 2 were at the upper end of that average. So there's your reference point. When I recorded my last update, I'd only just launched my own Patreon page, which is where people can subscribe to me monthly and they can get a few extra little perks in return for that financial support. Although I'm sure you must be already aware of that because you already sign up and support me, right? You already give a little bit of money each month in return for my valuable content, right? It's been a bit of a slow burn on Patreon with people coming over since I launched in June, but I'm up to 65 paid members now, which I'm super thankful for. Thank you, you know who you are. But if I could bring over 1%, just 1% of my YouTube subscribers to Patreon, it would make a massive difference. And if that were to happen, I think it would probably make Patreon a priority for me over YouTube, where I could then concentrate more of my time on creating exclusive content for those supporters. The reality is YouTube doesn't pay that well, and it's a bit hit and miss. You might have a good month because 1 or 2 videos have taken off and done really well, but then it all slows down again, and you put another video up and it doesn't do nearly as well. In December, I had my best month ever on YouTube. The figures for that will be in January because you get paid the month following. But I got more than 250,000 views in the space of that 4 weeks. And that amounted to just less than £1,200 worth of AdSense. I can't see myself being able to consistently hit those numbers going forward. And the payoff for that wasn't that great. I appreciate it's nothing to be sniffed at, but £1,200 doesn't really cover my living costs. If you'd have asked me 18 months ago what I expected sort of 60,000 subscribers and a healthy view count would make me each month, I would have expected it to be more than £1,200. YouTube feels more like a hamster wheel. Typically, when you first launch a video, it does well for the first month and then typically tails off. And so you have to keep making content to try and keep those monthly views high in order to keep that income coming at a decent level. And you're always hoping that when you launch a video, that the algorithm decides to spit it out and to lots of people and you get some good numbers on there, but you never know if that's going to be the case or not. But Patreon, on the other hand, gives you more control and a more consistent income. I can post on Patreon without any concern for the algorithm because the subscription income is steady and predictable, albeit low at the moment. But hopefully that'll grow, so we'll see what happens. Also, in my last update, I spoke about the intention of creating a course that I could sell separately. Well, I'm embarrassed to say that that is almost no further along than it was before. However, my resolution for 2025 is to create and release a course at some point this year. So it is going to happen. It will happen, I promise. And to add fuel to that, recently I was contacted by quite a reputable online music institution that approached me about creating a course in collaboration with them that they can sell on their already established platform. So I'm excited about what that might turn out to be as well. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I'll have an update for you in a couple of months. So that's kind of it for now. There will be one final update in this series. I think as I mentioned previously, I'm doing this in line with the UK tax year, which ends at the end of March. So probably sometime in April, I'll come out with a final installment and reflection on the year. But I hope this has been somewhat interesting or useful to somebody. Thanks for being here.